local government for a very long time. So, Mr. Manager, I am super excited. Thomas Edison said that good fortune is what happens when opportunity meets planning, and you have really brought the planning to meet with the opportunity. So you're shining bright like Thomas Edison's light bulb, right along with all of your directors together. And we did a quick calculation. You all can figure it out tomorrow. But together, along with the manager, the directors, you have over 180 years of experience doing city work. And I think you've really brought something very, very exciting this year. Last year, I said it was a legacy budget. I think this year, we're really acting on that legacy, which is very important to our community. I also say, you know, in a large part, and I don't think it's because we have an extremely engaged community. You've all seen it. We have an extremely intelligent community. And I can tell you, after knocking on almost 5,000 doors over a year ago, which I really never want to repeat unless it's for somebody that I really think is going to do a great job. There were very few people. I was really concerned last year as I was knocking on doors. There were very few people that said, Karen, the taxes, we can't take the taxes. They talked about development. They talked about quality of life issues. Very few people reached out to say the taxes are ridiculous. So I know you probably would rather go home than listen to my comments, but since I only get to make these once a year, I'm going to go ahead and make them. I want to describe the good time budget. Okay, there are good times in Palmetto Bay, but let me tell you about the good time budget. Over $4.5 million for the Coral Reef Rec Room. And I'll tell you, Mr. Manager, I don't know how your wife feels, but in this room, you can just say Coral Reef Multipurpose Room, and we're all smiling. So that's a good thing. $2.5 million for Veterans Park. That's a part of our good time budget. $500,000 for the water main project on Cartee Road. Good time budget. $300,000 for public service lot and paving and striping, definitely needed. If you pass down 180th, which I know at least one of my colleagues does almost on a daily basis, we've got some big vehicles there. We want to make sure that people can park, as I had asked the manager, I see Dio nodding his head. I was like, is there any way we can get all the employees' cars to move so they're not spread along the street? I think a parking lot will be very helpful for that. Pickleball Center, Phase 1, $200,000, good time budget. $150,000 for the Thalata Estate parking lot, resurfacing and striping, good time budget. Village branding projects, which is definitely a priority of mine, $150,000 when we approve certain projects. Remember, we're only approving tonight a budget. We are not approving individual projects. And I think that's going to be very important, especially for home values and really for highlighting that we are in the village of Palmetto Bay. We've got an irrigation system for $100,000 at Palmetto Bay Park. Solar panels here at Village Hall, $80,000, which we talked about potentially making some changes for the Park Drive completion, moving that money elsewhere. $75,000 for planning consultant, which I think is going to be very important. We're investing in a lobbyist this year, and I'm very excited about that. It's very difficult to follow the appropriations, especially when you're busy running the city. That can be very difficult. We're looking at something else that's very important to me, maintenance of our buildings. Village Hall needs a paint job. It needs to look like the Village Hall in the village of Palmetto Bay. We've dedicated money to that. I could continue to go on, but you've highlighted most of it. I'm super excited about the $300,000 for the small drain improvements, the $250,000 for traffic calming, and I don't know what the percent increase is, but $400,000 for road paving, very important in the village. We all know that we've inherited an old infrastructure in the village of Palmetto Bay, and I think given this opportunity and your great planning, we're going to be able to really make it shine. This is all while putting $10 million into reserves. And I won't go into detail, but if you followed the budget over the course of time, reserves were being depleted. As a matter of fact, my first conversation with the manager during the first budget cycle, he said, Karen, you can continue in this manner, doing the kind of spending that we were doing, and I won't go into how we were doing that in the past, probably in a large part not known to all the council members, and we will bankrupt the city in the next 10 years. You have difficult decisions to make. We made the difficult decisions, and now this year we're able to maintain the 2.35 and really be able to invest in our beautiful village. I did have to giggle a little bit, Councilwoman Mattson, because I remember when I was on the dais as a councilwoman, and each budget cycle, you too would come forward and say, I don't want to decrease the millage rate, but I know times change, and I'm respectful of your change in thought process. Listen, the village is not just